there lived a kid named Aaron. He was a very shy kid growing up. He would often easily get embarrassed at his middle school. His dad, Nathan, would pick him up from school every day. Aaron hated when his dad picked him up because he would feel embarrassed, as his dad's face was burned from the left side. All the kids would make fun of Aaron because of his dad's disability. Aaron would tell his dad if his mom can pick him up, but Nathan would say no because she is at work. About a couple months later, Nathan died in a horrific car crash. A drunk driver was driving on the wrong side of the freeway and hit him. Aaron's mom, Natasha, was really devastated at the time. She would cry herself to sleep every day. This death didn't really affect Aaron as much. Aaron was just glad that he wasn't going to be embarrassed anymore at school because his mom would pick him up from now on. On a Friday, Aaron's mom picks him up at school. He is very happy because he had just gone on summer vacation. He was ready to go play with his friends at the park. Natasha takes him to the park and parks in front of it. Aaron is ready to go, but his mom starts to stop him. Aaron is confused as to why he can't go outside to play with his friends. Natasha starts to break down in tears. She tells Aaron to have a seat and wait a little so she can explain something to him. She starts to say, "Your dad was a very brave person. We both never told you, but a long time ago when you were born, we had a huge fire at our old house. The whole house caught on fire. I was luckily able to get you out, but your dad heard screaming. The screaming was coming from you. He went to go find you and saw that you were trapped behind some fire. He sacrificed himself as he ran into the fire and saved you. He gave you to one of the paramedics as he laid outside on the ground burning. That's why his face was burned, because he saved you." Aaron starts to realize that he would be embarrassed all the time when his dad used to pick him up. He starts to realize that if it wasn't for himself, his dad wouldn't have a burned face. He tells his mom, I didn't know that, Mom. Instead of the park, can we go to the cemetery to see Dad?" His mom agrees and takes him to the cemetery. They arrive and they both go to his grave. Aaron sits down next to his dad and says, "I am sorry for my actions. I regret the things that I did when you were alive. Please forgive me." Aaron and his mom both tear up while they sit next to him. This story teaches us that we shouldn't assume until we know what's really going on. If you don't know the cause and effect, then you shouldn't be able to assume.
The working day is almost over at a meat company. There is about 30 minutes left until everyone clocks out. The supervisor is named Tyler. Tyler always makes sure that everything is done before anyone can leave. There is always the same guy that checks the walk-in freezer for inventory, but that guy had to leave early due to a family problem. Tyler decided that he was going to be the one that checks inventory for that day. There's about 10 minutes left in the workday, so Tyler goes over to the freezer. He opens the heavy and big door as a gush of cold air hits him in the face. Tyler looks at the warm clothes sitting on the shelf. He thinks to himself that he will only be there for about 5 minutes, so he doesn't need the clothes. He walks into the freezer and starts to count inventory. As he gets to the first shelf, he counts out loud the number of meats. Then suddenly, bang! The freezer door has just completely closed. Instantly, he turns around and runs towards the door. He puts both of his hands on the cold door and pushes with all of his strength. Nothing happens. Tyler starts to panic as the door is shut. There's an axe laying on the floor across the room. He picks it up and starts hitting the door with it. Still, nothing. He lays down on the floor, curled up in a ball. He thinks to himself that nobody knows I am here. Everyone has almost clocked out, and it is Friday evening. I'm going to die. There's no way out. He faces the fact and closes his eyes. About an hour later, the door swings wide open. This awakens Tyler, and he immediately jumps up. He can't believe that the door just opened. And who stands in front of that door is a security guard. The security guard asks, "What are you doing in here? Are you crazy?" Tyler goes up to him and gives him a big hug. They both walk out of the freezer and into the warm room. Tyler sits there shivering and asks, "How did you know I was in there?" The security guard looks at him and waits for him to get warmer. He said, "There's a lot of people that work for this company, and I have noticed that nobody respects me. They act like I am not part of this company because I'm just a security guard. Then I realized that the only person that respects me is you, Tyler. You always say good morning to me, goodbye, and always help me when I have a problem at my job. When I saw that you didn't leave today on time, it started to worry me. I started to look for you in every room, but I couldn't find you. The last place to check was the freezer. So, here I am." Tyler looks at him and thanks him for everything he does, especially saving his life. This story teaches us to be respectful to everybody you may meet. You might need someone's help one day, and will be gifted it due to being respectful. There is a family of 3 which consists of a dad, mom, and son. The mom and dad always get into arguments over the littlest things. It ranges from the dad not taking out the trash in time for the garbage trucks, or the mom oversleeping in the morning. One day, they got into a very loud argument in the kitchen. After the argument, they decided to get a divorce because they are not happy. They go to a lawyer to sign all necessary paperwork for the divorce. When they both get to the lawyer's office, the lawyer recognizes the dad because he's done some work for him in the past. The parents tell the lawyer that they need a divorce as soon as possible so they can go their separate ways. The lawyer does not like this decision because he knows that they have a son and they can easily overcome any obstacle in their marriage. The lawyer informs them to rethink their decision on divorcing and to come back tomorrow to see what they decide on. The mom and dad agree to come back the next day to give their answer. It is now the next day. The parents go to the lawyer's office and give him the same answer. We still want a divorce. The lawyer looks at them with disbelief, but it is out of his control. He knows that if they want to get a divorce, then he's going to have to do it for them. The lawyer says, "Okay, come back tomorrow and I'll have all the paperwork ready for you both to sign." The mom and dad thank the lawyer and go back home. The third session came and they were going to sign the divorce papers. The parents went to the lawyer's office, but they told the lawyer they did not want to get a divorce anymore. They gave the lawyer some treats to show him that they are sorry that they did not listen to him. The lawyer is confused and asks, "What happened? I thought you guys wanted to get a divorce." They explained to the lawyer that as soon as they got back home from his office, one of their friends called to ask about the family. When they explained to him what was happening, he drove down immediately to help them. He told them to bring a notebook and write 5 positive things down about each other. At first, they did not understand why they should do this, as they are about to get a divorce. Yet they wrote them down anyways. Then, the friend had them exchange each other's positive points. As they did this, they realized there were more positives than negatives. In the notebook, the dad explains, "My wife always has food ready for me when I come home from work. She takes care of our son and gets him ready for school. She washes all my clothes so I never have any dirty ones. And she sets up all my doctor's and dentist appointments. She even makes me lunch for work. Besides all of this, she respects me a lot." Then the mom explained her 5, saying that my husband goes to work to provide for our family. He takes care of our bills. He plays sports with our son to make him happy. He cares for me when my body hurts, and he buys me things I like. And besides all that, he loves me the most. So we knew that we have more positive points than negatives. We can discuss to solve any of our problems. Then the friends said that their only problem was that they were not listening to each other. They were just talking, and each believed that they were correct. The lawyer was impressed with the friend's suggestion, so he finally canceled all the paperwork. The parents thanked the lawyer and the friend, and they went back home to live their lives as a happy family again.
Once upon a time, a man gets home from work. He goes by the name of Rick. Rick is a successful businessman, owning his own company, making millions every year. He just got back from a business trip, and he sees his kids playing with a toy set he had bought them a couple weeks ago. It was a very expensive toy. The wife doesn't even cook anymore. She uses Rick's credit card every day to order food from an online app. Money isn't an issue in this family since Rick makes a ton of it. He goes up to his wife. She is named Sarah. He tries to kiss her, but she avoids the kiss and leaves the room. Rick goes to his son and daughter to ask them what they are up to. The son and daughter both immediately leave and head to their rooms. Rick goes to his wife and starts an argument with her. He said, "I provide for this family every day by making millions, and everyone is ignoring me. Why are you guys being like this?" This spiraled out of control, and the kids heard shouting. They get up and go investigate. Rick starts to push Sarah onto the wall, not letting her go. He sees his kids and shouts, "You two are grounded. Go into your rooms and stay there." Rick lets Sarah go, and he storms outside, getting into his car. The kids come out of the room and go to their mommy. Sarah starts to comfort her kids. They are glad that Rick is gone. Rick ends up going to see his longtime friend, Jack. He gets to his house and starts to talk about his situation. Rick starts to go into detail about how his family doesn't like him. He starts to tell him, "I make all the money, so I don't know why they are getting so mad at me when I literally provide for them every day." Jack starts to facepalm as his friend explains this. Jack says, "Look, Rick, your family is grateful that you are able to provide for them, but you aren't doing your role. You have to be a great husband, dad, and moneymaker. You have the moneymaker part down, but you have to know that there's a celebration at every house. It can be negative and positive. There can be a situation where your family is glad that you are back home, or they are glad when you leave the house. So go back to your family and apologize. Keep a great balance between the three, and you should live a happy life." Rick starts to tear up because he was so focused on the money that he never gave attention to his family. He thanks Jack and heads straight home. He enters the house and tells everyone to come sit in the living room. He gives out a sincere apology to everyone and promises that he will be the best father and husband he can be. This story teaches us that you need a great balance in life. You can't be focused on the money because it comes and goes. You can always make money, but you can't keep a healthy relationship between the ones you love if you're so focused on it. So, If you want to know whether you are a likable person or not at your family, test when would the celebration get started at your house? By your coming back home or by your leaving?